Carroll O'Connor really didn't like him more than almost anyone else. And that bad feeling didn't just happen for no reason. It built up over many years from strong opinions, deep beliefs, and tough life lessons he learned the hard way. Carroll O'Connor, whose full name was John Carroll O'Connor, was born on August 2, 1924, in the Bronx, New York. He grew up in a proud Irish-American family where learning, telling stories, and keeping traditions were super important. They weren't choices, they were ways to get through life. He was raised during the Great Depression, so O'Connor got an early understanding of how hard life can be for different classes, unfair treatment in society, and how people see the world differently based on their situation. Those tough early years didn't make him softer. They made him sharper. They formed his gut feelings and later flowed right into how he acted. O'Connor didn't just say his lines from memory. He really got inside his characters and lived them. After going to Wake Forest University and then the University of Montana, his school plans got stopped by World War II when he served in the United States Merchant Marine. That time showed him real stress, strict rules, and the complicated sides of how people act, and it changed forever how he thought about bosses, fights, and staying alive. When the war was over, O'Connor didn't just drift around. He focused hard. He went back to school, got a degree in English, and dove deep into his love for words, books, and clever conversations. He thought about teaching, but acting pulled him in stronger. In the 1950s, he made a big move to Ireland, signing up at University College Dublin, and threw himself into theatre life and old-school acting styles. That time overseas changed everything for him. O'Connor started doing stage shows, making his acting tighter, improving his timing, and learning how to hold the audience's attention without trying too hard. Every part made him better at control, getting him ready for a career that needed smarts, holding back emotions, and exact feelings. When he came back to the United States, he didn't think fame would come fast. He worked super hard through the 1960s, taking small guest spots and supporting roles in movies one by one. He showed up in TV and movie parts that quietly proved his skills, like in Cleopatra in 1963, What Did You Do in the War, Daddy? In 1966, and Point Blank in 1967. These roles showed he could switch between heavy drama and funnier stuff without seeming fake. People in the business noticed, even if big fame hadn't hit yet. Everything changed in the 1970s. O'Connor finally got the part that would make his career famous and change TV forever. Archie Bunker on All in the Family, from 1971 to 1979. Archie wasn't smooth or easy to like. He was direct, stuck in his ways, and came straight from working-class life in Queens. The character showed real gaps between generations, money worries, and social fears that were bubbling up all over America. A lot of actors would have said no to such a touchy role, but O'Connor went all in. He gave Archie real depth, funny moments, and times when he seemed weak, so the character didn't turn into just a simple bad guy. Archie became like a mirror, making viewers face hard truths about race, how men and women should act, politics, and big changes. People didn't always side with him, but they knew someone like him, and that felt strong. All in the Family didn't hold back. It went straight at racism, women's rights, war, and money problems, stuff that regular TV shows hardly ever talked about. The show became a huge deal in culture, and O'Connor's acting was right in the middle of it. His work won him 4 Primetime Emmy Awards, putting him up there with the best TV actors ever. He kept playing the part in Archie Bunker's place from 1979 to 1983, letting the character grow a little and think more. But O'Connor wasn't done changing things up. In the late 1980s, he surprised everyone again as Chief Bill Gillespie in the Heat of the Night, from 1988 to 1995. This part turned things upside down from what people expected. Gillespie was thoughtful, kind, and able to change, especially dealing with race issues and tough moral choices in a small southern town. O'Connor didn't just act. He helped make the show as a producer and writer, showing he was great at telling stories too. Behind the camera, O'Connor's own life was just as important. In 1962, while shooting Cleopatra in Rome, with all the mess, stress, and huge production problems, O'Connor and his wife Nancy Fields O'Connor made a big choice that changed their lives. They adopted a baby boy who was only 6 days old, and named him Hugh. It was a meaningful pick to remember O'Connor's brother, who had died just a year before. That adoption kept him grounded. It showed kindness, memory, and a strong promise to family, even in the crazy world of Hollywood. Hugh wasn't just a kid. He gave O'Connor real purpose. As Hugh got older, he naturally got into the show business world. At 17, he worked as a courier on Archie Bunker's place. It wasn't special treatment, it was to teach him. Carroll wanted his son to learn hard work, being responsible, and how real TV sets run. Later, while doing In the Heat of the Night, Carroll made up the role of Officer Lonnie Jameson just for Hugh. It wasn't to make things easy, it was to guide him. He wanted his son to grow with some protection, not too much pressure. Sadly, Hugh's life later had big personal problems. On March 28, 1995, Hugh died after fighting drug addiction for a long time. The loss broke O'Connor. Instead of hiding, he turned his hurt into helping others, talking openly about addiction, kindness, and how to stop it through public messages. For the rest of his days, O'Connor kept that cause going, not letting the sad thing go to waste. But while his home life was tough, bad feelings on set were a different story. O'Connor never hid how he felt about Rob Reiner, who played Michael Meathead Eastivic. He once said, "I've never hated anyone as much as I hated Rob Reiner." This wasn't light stuff. It was about big differences in beliefs. O'Connor thought Reiner acted like he was better than everyone morally, turning acting scenes into lectures instead of just talking lines. "I'm an actor, not a preacher," O'Connor said. Even with those bad feelings, O'Connor stayed professional. The bad vibes actually made their scenes feel more real, giving us those amazing arguments that people still remember. Carroll O'Connor died at 76 on June 21, 2001, in Culver City, California, from a heart attack caused by problems from diabetes he had for years. He was buried at Westwood Village Memorial Park Cemetery, with his son Hugh remembered on his gravestone. His story shows that great people have mixed sides. Strength and weakness, kindness and being stubborn, caring and strong opinions, and that mix is why we still admire him today. He was in TV roles and supporting movie parts that quietly showed his skills, like in Cleopatra in 1963, What Did You Do in the War, Daddy? In 1966, and Point Blank in 1967. These roles proved he could switch smoothly between serious drama and lighter stuff without seeming fake. People in the industry noticed, even if big public fame hadn't come yet. That all changed in the 1970s. O'Connor finally got the role that would make his career huge and change TV history, Archie Bunker on All in the Family, from 1971 to 1979. Archie wasn't smooth or easy. He was direct, stubborn, and came from working-class Queens life. The character showed real gaps between old and young people, money troubles, and social worries that America was dealing with back then. Many actors would have said no to such a risky role. But O'Connor went for it. He gave Archie real layers, funny parts, and weak moments that kept him from being just a flat bad example. Instead, Archie became like a mirror, making people face tough facts about race, how guys and girls should act, politics, and big changes. People didn't always like what Archie said, but they knew guys like him, and that felt real and strong. All in the Family didn't hold back. It went right at racism, women's rights, war, and money stress, things primetime TV had stayed away from for years. The show became a big cultural spark, and O'Connor's acting was right in the center. His work got him for Primetime Emmy Awards for Best Lead Actor in a Comedy, putting him with the top TV stars. He kept the role in Archie Bunker's place from 1979 to 1983, letting the character live longer and grow a bit with some thinking moments. But O'Connor wasn't done surprising us. In the late 1980s and early 1990s, he wowed people again as Chief Bill Gillespie in the Heat of the Night. From 1988 to 1995. This role turned expectations around. Gillespie was thoughtful, kind, and could change, especially with race problems and hard moral stuff in a small southern town. O'Connor didn't just act in it. He helped build the show as producer and writer, showing his story skills were strong. Behind the scenes, O'Connor's life was just as big. Back in 1962, while filming Cleopatra in Rome, a movie known for its mess, huge money problems, and stress. Full days, O'Connor and his wife Nancy Fields O'Connor made a choice that changed everything. In the middle of long work days and Hollywood pressure, they adopted a baby boy just 6 days old and named him Hugh. The name was super personal. It remembered O'Connor's brother who died a year earlier, mixing sadness with new hope in one big way. That adoption showed more than just being nice. It proved O'Connor's strong promise to family, even with the wild ups and downs of show business. It grounded him, showing that no matter how crazy work got, family was always number one. A kid whose name carried love, memory, and loss, Hugh meant a lot in the O'Connor home. It reminded them of family past and duty. As Hugh grew up, he naturally got into TV and movies because of his dad, Carroll O'Connor, whose work was all over American TV. At just 17, Hugh got on a real set for the first time, doing a small job as a courier on Archie Bunker's place. It looked small, but it was a big deal. It put Hugh right in the world that shaped his dad's life, rules, and success. For Carroll, already a TV star, it wasn't about giving favors. It was about letting him see it. He wanted Hugh to get the feel, stress, and duty of a real set, not just the fancy parts people think about. That choice showed Carroll believed in earning things. He wasn't giving Hugh easy fame. He was teaching how real work happens. It made their father-son bond stronger and quietly taught about being responsible, and ready. Hugh wasn't treated special like the boss's son. He had to work hard like others. Later, Carroll went further with helping. On In the Heat of the Night, he made the part of Officer Lonnie Jameson just for Hugh. This wasn't an easy way in. It was a safe chance. Carroll knew how mean the business could be, and he wanted Hugh to learn with help, not huge stress. The move said a lot. It showed Carroll real. Lie wanted to help Hugh be creative while keeping him safe from bad fame stuff. He wasn't hiding him from hard things. He was guiding him through. That mix of dad and teacher showed a gentler side of Carroll O'Connor that not many saw. Sadly, Hugh had big personal fights as he got older. On March 28, 1995, Hugh died after a long fight with drug addiction, a loss that hit Carroll and his family super hard. The sadness was too much, and no parent is ready for that. The loss changed Carroll, not just at home but out in public too. Instead of pulling away, Carroll got active. He started talking openly about addiction, pushing for knowing about it, stopping it early, and being kind instead of judging. He did public service ads with the Partnership for a Drug-Free America, using his fame to show the real pain for families, not just numbers. Carroll didn't act like he knew everything. He talked as a dad who loved, hoped, and heard with his son. His words weren't mean. They were urgent. He wanted better understanding, quick help, and support to stop others from the same pain. For the rest of his life, Carroll O'Connor stayed with that cause. He turned awful loss into meaning, showing strength most people can't. That part of his life made his memory strong not just as an actor but as a loving dad who wouldn't waste the tragedy. But while his home life had deep feelings, set tensions were a whole different thing. Carroll O'Connor wasn't the type to sugarcoat when he felt strong about something, and that included how he felt about Rob Reiner, who played Michael Meathead Stivic on All in the Family. In talks and private chats, Carroll didn't hide his dislike. He once said, "I've never hated anyone as much as I hated Rob Reiner." That wasn't just talk. It showed years of bad feelings that never went away. This wasn't just two people not getting along. Their fight was deeper, from different views, pride, and how they worked. Carroll thought Reiner acted like he was morally better, especially with the political differences in their roles. To Carroll, Reiner seemed like he thought he was the smartest guy there. Carroll, who cared a ton about real acting and true feelings, got annoyed by that. To him, it felt like Reiner didn't respect Archie or the hard work to play him right. It wasn't only about acting picks. It was how Reiner acted around everyone. Carroll felt he questioned bosses, doubted reasons, and messed up the set vibe. What some saw as sure of himself, Carroll saw as too proud. That bad feeling never went away. It stayed heavy and clear. While other actors became friends and joked off camera, Carroll and Reiner stayed apart. No friendly chats, no warming up, just keeping it work only. The set felt tense, and everyone knew it. This wasn't just rumor. It was a real clash of lives, beliefs, and pride. And that rub would mark one of TV's biggest shows forever. Carroll O'Connor never acted like the bad feelings weren't there. He straight up called Rob Reiner distant, cold, and acting better than others, making sure people knew there was never any friend vibe off camera. O'Connor once said honestly that there was never a time I felt like Rob was my friend. To him, Reiner always seemed to push, prove points, and compete in ways that tired him out instead of working together. That ongoing rub made O'Connor feel alone on a set where everyone was supposed to click easy. He wasn't just sticking up for Archie Bunker. He felt like he had to prove his own acting value every day. Long days, tough lines, and creative stress just made the annoyance bigger, turning normal scenes into emotional traps. To O'Connor, their talks were tense, weird, and often straight-up mean. He thought Reiner's ways added extra stress to already hard filming days. But this wasn't only personal hate. It was bigger. There was a big difference in how the why thought at the core. To O'Connor, Archie Bunker wasn't a joke bad guy. He was real, messed up, and human. A role that needed careful balance and thought. O'Connor took that job seriously, making Archie someone people could relate to even if they hated his views. Reiner's way felt different to O'Connor. He thought Reiner went heavy on making fun and being sure about ideas, turning the dad-son stuff into like a non-stop lesson on right and wrong. O'Connor put it clear once, saying it wasn't acting. It felt like Reiner was trying to teach him every day about liberal vs conservative, right vs wrong. O'Connor said, "I'm an actor, not a preacher." That belief clash made filming together tough. O'Connor felt he had to handle Reiner's strong pushes while keeping Archie real without letting big messages take over the acting. Even with those strong bad feelings, O'Connor never let it blow up on camera. He stayed pro all the way. Even hating it personally, he made sure the tension helped the scene, not hurt it. Funny enough, that real hate might have made their fight spark more. Archie and Michael's arguments felt raw, true, and full of feeling, and people loved watching. While O'Connor might have thought it wasn't worth it privately, the truth is that bad vibe made their scenes ones we can't forget. Still, O'Connor never changed his mind. He kept saying till he died that his dislike for Reiner was the worst. He said straight, "I've worked with many people I couldn't stand, but Rob topped them all." That wasn't just mad talk. It was real truth without hiding. In a way, O'Connor's feelings about Reiner showed his own mixed self. He cared deeply about acting, guarded real art, and wasn't scared to call out people he couldn't deal with. While fans saw the tough but nice Archie Bunker, behind it was a guy who took acting and respect super serious. This set tension showed how great team-ups can hide real feeling fights. On-screen wow doesn't always mean off-screen friends. And All in the Family proved that. Carroll O'Connor died at age 76 on June 21, 2001, in Culver City, California, a spot tied to show business and his work. It was a heart attack from long diabetes problems, something he fought quietly for years. Diabetes had hurt his heart over time, making it weaker. His death ended a big time in American TV. O'Connor wasn't just an actor. He was a big cultural voice who brought laughs, real depth, and talks about society into homes everywhere. After he passed, O'Connor was buried at Westwood Village Memorial Park Cemetery, where lots of Hollywood stars rest. The spot showed his big place and the respect he got. In a touching way, his gravestone also remembers his son Hugh. That wasn't just nice. It was from the heart. Hugh was huge in O'Connor's life, adopted at a key time in his career and always connected as dad and guide. The shed stone is a quiet but strong sign of O'Connor's love for family. It shows how his private life and famous work were tied together by love, loss, and strength. Carroll O'Connor's story shows that being great often means having mixed parts. He could be warm and tough, giving and stuck in his ways, kind and firm all together. And that mix is why people still feel his impact today. If you like deep looks at Hollywood stars, real behind-the-scenes stuff, and stories they don't often share, make sure to subscribe, like, comment, and share this if it gave you something new. More stories like this are on the way, so stay tuned.